Hello, this is Sister Mary Margaret Fussynickers. You're about to listen to Free State Radio. Why? I don't know. You may hear subversive ideas like liberty, responsibility, and rights. You may.
I think most of you, if you've been down here any time before, have met our next speaker. She was always running around pushing me somewhere, or telling me I was late to be somewhere, or pulling me away from you while I was talking to you to push me somewhere else. But my former chief of staff, and now a recognized member of the Maryland Rifle and Pistol Association Board, my friend, Andy Maroney.
Yes, you remember my name. That's good. It is so great to see all of you today. Many of you know me, as Mike said, as the girl behind the scenes, and you know that I was thrilled to be that girl. It's so funny to be in front this time, but excuse me if I'm just a little nervous being in front this time. In October, the Maryland State Rifle and Pistol Association asked me to step up further and join their board of directors. Needless to say, I was incredibly honored. Then they asked me to speak here today, and I was over the moon. Today, I stand proudly amongst you, my brothers and sisters, and I am thrilled to be here amongst you. That said, welcome to the second annual 2A Tuesday. For many of us, this is not the first or second time we have stood on this mall in support of our rights, but it is a different ballgame now with a new governor who is not a Bloomberg light liberal and who does recognize that the Constitution exists to protect our freedoms. What is the price of freedom? It is eternal vigilance. We have all come here today as an expression of our eternal vigilance. This is a single point in time, a display of number to demonstrate our commitment and to reaffirm our principled belief in the rule of a constitutional government. While we are all here today to demonstrate our commitment, I would ask each of you, what are you going to do tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that? Our vigilance must be eternal and unwavering. We must continue to reach out to those who share our values and those who don't. Our voice must be both patient and firm. Our message both clear and concise. We face many dangers today, and our only salvation lies in the beliefs of our founding fathers. We cannot sacrifice freedom in the name of security. That excuse has led us to poorly constructed laws that erode our freedom and do absolutely nothing to make us more secure. So what do we do tomorrow and the day after that? We continue to write our representatives. We continue to call them. We continue to send them emails, and we continue to make appointments to see them. And please don't forget their staff. Be kind and considerate, and as you did with me, make sure that they understand too. We write, call, and visit both our senators and delegates, those who share and those who don't share our views, and we speak in one unified voice. And we don't stop when session is over. We take them out to the range if we can during the interim to have some fun. We go to their fundraisers or donate what we can. And when the time comes, we knock doors for those who support us to help them get reelected. We also take the opportunity to educate our family, friends, and neighbors. We show them that we are certainly not the partisan zealots bent on recreating the Wild West the far left would have those who are uninformed believe, but that we are everyday people, doctors, lawyers, construction workers, mothers, wives, fathers, and brothers and sisters who share the common values of the right to keep and bear arms. We take our sons and daughters hunting. We take them to the shooting range. We take them clay shooting. We bring a friend or neighbor to a marksmanship or safety class. We demonstrate the passion that we all possess and we are showing here today. We get involved and we expand our numbers. Make no mistake, this is a fight for freedom. It is one we will win in the halls of the buildings behind me and by passing our values down to the next generation. The importance of victory is no less important than our brave forefathers or our current military men and women carry on to the field of battle. Today, tomorrow, and the day after, our battlefields are in the halls of government and in our homes. We must pressure those in leadership, and we must pressure those we know to get involved and stay involved. And we must pass our values down to the next generation. Friends, remember, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution are known as the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Privileges. The right to keep and bear arms as a cornerstone of our republic is unique to the American experience. It is based on the notion that the state and the citizen should be on equal footing, not lord to vassal, but equal to equal. We are equal here today because we are American, because we believe in our Constitution, because we believe in defending our rights. Ladies and gentlemen, get involved, stay involved, and defend your rights. The price of our freedom is eternal vigilance.
I got my first real 6-string, bought it at the 5 and 10, played it till my fingers bled. It was the summer of '69. We had some guys from school, and a band and we tried real hard.
That is my favorite.
Jody got married, should've known we'd never get far. Then when we look back now, summer seems to last forever. Oh, you held my hand, swore that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life.
I don't care. It's my favorite song. Well, one of them.
All right. Never heard of it.
All right. So what do I do with this?
Go back.
Stop.
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
You're gonna have to write all this down for the producers next week.
Yeah. There won't
Producer
be a show next week.
No, there will be. Dan and Mike will be here.
I know.
All right. We'll figure it out. We'll get there.
All right. Full house tonight.
We do have a full house. Ladies and gentlemen, guest hosting Kurt French.
Hello.
Now member of the Central Committee in Talbot County. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Congratulations.
Pronounced
Thank you.
Talbot County.
Anyway.
Talbot.
Talbot. And the awesome, completely fabulous friend, confidant, sister, all around good girl, Shannon Alford from the NRA-ILA. So, yay! So she did a great job yesterday. Her speech was rocking.
Yeah.
And we would have put hers up, but it's not available yet. But it'll be available like very soon. So
Love the selfie pose from the podium.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Stroke of genius.
Also, I forgot to look up, but we need to send YouTube, which you can actually get from my Facebook page. But I will post the link both on MD Shooters and on my Facebook, because it was the James Madison production that did the taping on this, and he prefers
we did a great job.
Yeah, and he prefers we don't use his Christian name, so we just call him James Madison, and he's kind of a rocking guy and shoots like a big dog.
Great.
I don't know that I've ever shot with him.
Well, you may not have, but I've seen him shoot. So,
Excellent.
yeah. So, you're having trouble with the chat room. Okay. So we need to talk about the rally, and then we're going to talk about some legislation. Then we're going to talk about a little bit of breaking news that happened today in the court system, with regard to sales across the country.
Oh, I'm feeling deflated, but go ahead.
I can't help that. Just saying. Just share
Stick
the
your
link.
thumb in your mouth and go.
Well, thank you. Everybody's a comedian.
All right.
What's the problem?
No problem.
Okay, I just thought somebody from the chat room was complaining.
No,
about something.
nobody's complaining. I mean, he's complaining.
Like Kirk
He
always
says it's a
complains.
bourbon.
Kirk
We haven't even
complains
given
about
him any bourbon yet.
Really?
So, so everybody seems to like the new chat room. So that's a good thing. So yesterday, in case you missed it or were not able to come, there was a rally
2A Tuesday
in Annapolis, and it was the second annual 2A Tuesday.
A lot of great speakers.
Well,
You had Shannon there.
Shannon.
You.
Yeah.
Emily Miller.
Emily Miller.
What more could you want?
Emily was awesome. Did you get to talk to her?
Oh, she was fantastic.
She, and I put this up on my Facebook. One of the most, for Rockstar, one of the most genuine, just easygoing, nicest people I have ever met. I mean, she would totally be here in our studio chatting with us and
Except
be
the
perfectly
Kirk's here.
comfortable.
She doesn't like Kirk.
Nope.
Hey, Kirk, is Grandma listening?
Nope.
Oh, shame on Nana.
You can't.
Sorry.
No, that's on Kirk. If Kirk, you're not allowed to come if Grandma doesn't listen.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
Look at him.
It's been a while.
He's all married and blowing off women already.
No.
Yes, Kirk just got married.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for not using me.
Sorry,
as your,
John.
minister.
Come on.
Let my internet credentials go to waste there.
Sorry.
So anyway, yes. So I went in. I had the privilege of going in Monday night and had dinner with Shannon and several other friends, and at an awesome place called Dry 85.
No, don't worry. I stayed home and had mac and cheese.
Well, you could have come.
You were invited.
You were invited.
Oh, somebody had to watch the kid.
She's 13.
Oh, well, yeah.
She's 13.
They just call me Mr. Mom.
Anyway,
Strong.
strong endorsement for Dry 85, Main Street, Annapolis.
Where
Yeah.
is that?
What?
Where is that?
It's at 193 Main Street because I had to look it up for a guest.
Thank you. Thank
So-
you. Now that tells me absolutely
Do you know where the
nothing.
subway is on Main Street? Do you know
No.
where the Maryland Inn is?
I didn't know they had a subway.
Do you know
in
where Annapolis is?
You-
Oh, Shecky Green over here speaks.
I
suburban
love it. I love it. I
subway.
love it. I love it. I
Oh,
love
all
it.
of a sudden he finds his voice.
So do you know where the Treaty of Paris is?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're going down the hill,
Yes.
same side of the street, if you're going down the hill, it's
Right.
there on the right.
Okay. Why
It's
didn't you just
near
say that
Ron
in the
George's
first
jewelry shop.
place? Okay.
Okay.
You should have just said that in the first place.
But you didn't ask. So anyway, so we went there and I had this bourbon called Blanton's, which was awesome. And Shannon had
I
Bourbon
had
jam
I
or
had a
something?
drink with bourbon, with honey vanilla syrup, and with blackberry jam
And it was
muddled together, and it was
awesome.
amazing. And so that's what I'm doing with all the blackberry jam I put up this summer.
Wow.
is mixing
Both of
with
you
bourbon.
suck. I had green Hawaiian punch and mac and cheese.
like you
Thank
would have drank the bourbon anyway.
I would have liked the opportunity to refuse it.
Here you go. Here you go.
I put some in here.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, that'll be fun. So so anyway, so I was
Hey, well, let's get some grammars here.
oh boy.
Kirk's the enemy, not me.
Oh, okay.
You may
But I
proceed.
like Kirk.
How can you not like me?
We only have 2 hours allocated. to
No,
show.
okay, yeah. So yes, yeah, it's near the sushi place on Main Street. So but anyway, so we went, we prepped, we went over things, we talked about, solved all the problems of the world. And then the next morning we were at we were down the street in an office doing pre-prep for the rally and going over my speech and trying to figure out where the applause lines were. Apparently the applause lines weren't where we thought they were, where I thought they were, but that's okay because
Hey,
you
at
get,
least
I would
you had
rather
applause
be.
lines.
It was spontaneous. I was happy.
Right.
So
You need like the Tonight Show where they have the
don't
little applause sign.
no, it's fine with that. I wanted to.
That's what Kirk should have
I
done.
need to know what they like and what they don't like. But I don't think I did too badly.
I think you did
I think
great.
you did fantastic.
So
I will say that in the pre-planning meeting, I insisted that I didn't want to go immediately after Andy because I felt like I was going to get shown up.
oh my
So
God,
that is
that was
why,
so flattering too. Because all the speeches she does,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like huge.
Yeah,
in
no,
my
I
mind.
refused to follow up Andy immediately in the speakers.
Where did Emily
order.
Miller speak in the general order of things?
Who?
Where did Emily Miller speak in the general order of things?
So the speaking went Mike Smeagol, and then it went John Jocelyn, and then it went me, and then it went Dan, and then
Emily.
and then Emily. No, we had a legislator. I forget which legislator.
Yeah, there were a couple of legislators who had to get to a committee meeting. So
But
they,
poor Emily
they
was out
spoke.
there freezing her butt off.
Yeah.
So
and
we
then Emily.
so then she spoke, and we will have that available for you. We just don't have it tonight because James Madison is still working on it, but he did me a solid. And I pulled my piece out so we could use it on the radio show tonight. And I really appreciate it. So then we had a boatload of a legislator speech. I gotta say, I chewed on Kathy Vitale. I'm like, really? You're gonna be judge at the end of the month, the day after our birthday, not Abby's, Wendy's and my birthday. She's gonna be a judge. I'm like, you saved your best speech for last? Really? You could have done it last year, and but then she was like, "Shut up." So, but that's Kathy, and she is also my friend, so we give each other crap. So
We had a fantastic number of legislators speak.
yeah,
A fantastic number, record number.
yeah. So
Did you have any Eastern Shore
Yes.
delegation guys out there?
Yes. Shannon audible because Emily was freezing and wanting to get inside, and you absolutely did. And that was very generous of you because I was, you know me, and some of you guys know me really well from having worked with Mike, and some of you just know me from listening to the show. But like, Shannon did well with that because I have my list. This is the way the list is going, and take me aside, talk to me.
Not deviate from the list.
I'm just saying, I got it all planned out. So she did really well. And it was great not to have to be like, it was odd not to be the logistics person on it. I mean, really, it was odd not to be running around worrying about, well, did this person want to speak? And did that one person want to speak? And which order? And it was very, and walking back into the House of Delegates with Perrin, and thank you, Perrin, for your help with the, there's a boatload of people I need to thank, but for your help with the podium, because I don't know what I would have done. And I need to thank Mike Doherty, who was basically my escort all day. Security guard, escort, manager, advisor,
EMT,
paramedic. Yeah, when I walked across the vent, slipped, and I got really lucky and landed on my hands.
Ouch.
But I'm still really kind of stiff in my back. But he was awesome. He was just awesome. When a certain reporter from a certain newspaper who will go unnamed, but not known, the newspaper is not known for their ability to discern
fact from opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That's exactly right. So Mike walked with me, so I would have a witness in case I got misquoted. Because I was really worried about that.
Like that would have mattered. They were going to write whatever they wanted.
I was worried about the board. I was not worried about them. I was worried about the board. Okay, because I am on the board of MSRPA, and I want to be very, very careful when I'm speaking for them and when I'm not speaking for them. And when I'm speaking to the press, I am speaking for them, and I want to be extraordinarily careful.
We're not allowed to say the paper's name. You just not want to give them.
I don't want to give them any more.
Can we not light that fire?
Okay, I just asked.
That's all I'm saying.
It's a rag suitable for lining kitty litter boxes and bird cages.
Right, and most of us do, if we choose to buy it.
I guess they can put it where the sun doesn't shine, right?
No,
really? Wow.
There's some interesting.
I mean, they can, but
green Hawaiian punch.
Now, you know what?
I'm just looking at the chat room. So, but we had a number of people running just what do you need? What do you need? How can we help? And it wasn't one organization or the other organization.
So many
it
people
was,
did such a fantastic job.
Yeah, and
so many people.
And it was
all of the amazing volunteers
from all organizations,
from all the organizations who stood out in the cold, who helped haul stuff and set things up and direct people where to go, and everybody did a fantastic job.
Yeah. 2A. Let me just chat with you about that offline. So it was great, and AGC, MSI, and Maryland State Rifle and Pistol Association, and of course the NRA-ILA were the sponsors, and they rocked. Everybody came together. And I've done these rallies, and I've done these rallies for years, and I've done these rallies when there were a dozen of us standing on Lawyers Mall, and even in the ice, where schools were closed and people couldn't get there because they had kids or they didn't want to drive in the ice, which I totally understand. I mean, we had 250, 300 people out there. I mean, it was
easily.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, I see Gun Bunny has joined us.
Theoretically.
So I didn't identify Gun Bunny. Are you going to out Gun Bunny?
She's been outed.
No, okay. So anyway, but it was awesome. It was awesome sauce. And there was, I have to tell you, I mean, we had great speakers. I had never met David Vogt. Is it Vogt? VOGT? Delegate? Vought? How do you enunciate his name? Does anybody know?
Vogt. I think it's Vogt.
Okay. Well, he's a Marine.
If we get it wrong, I apologize, Delegate.
And just saying, he's a Marine, and he looks like he's an active duty Marine because he said something to Dan and it was incorrect, and Dan's like, "Give me 10," and he jumped down in his suit on the grass and pumped out 10 perfect push-ups that fast.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, and you could just tell. So either I don't know, but anyway, I was kind of impressed with the fact that he was just so willing to flow with.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, he was smart and he was nice. And we're not telling who Gun Bunny is. You'll have to ask me later. That's Bolts Rock. So he was awesome, and of course Smeegs was awesome, and who else? Oh, I met Senator Johnny Ray Salling yesterday.
Mhm.
Really a nice man, and Delegate Rick Metzger,
Mhm.
who, by the way, went out of his way this morning to contact me and tell me what a great day yesterday was, which I thought was kind of neat. So go forward and make sure that if you did not see your legislator, or if your legislators, if you know your legislators are with us, if you didn't see a legislator yesterday at all because you're like, oh, it's my district, please find a legislator, maybe who's sitting the fence or whose position you don't know, and go get it clarified. Because the bottom line is, what are you going to do tomorrow and the next day after that?
Mhm.
Shannon, your comments?
No, I was just going to say it was a fantastic event, and I was really impressed with how many people came out, and I'm really impressed with how many legislators came out, and and how many freshman legislators came out. There were a lot of new faces in that crowd, and there was more than one legislator who this was their first time addressing any kind of a rally, much less 2A Tuesday,
Right.
And it was. In many of those cases, it was our community that put them in there, and they came out to show their support. And it takes a lot of courage for a freshman legislator to be willing to go out and stand with their people and have the courage of their convictions and make a speech in front of cameras. And we're just amazed and grateful for every one of them who came out.
Absolutely.
Is it also everybody that showed up last year, being that SB 281 was kind of a hot topic last year?
No, that was 2 years ago, babe.
Well, still, as many people that were frustrated with that. This year, seeing a governor change, everything that's been going on, new delegation, all kinds of freshman representatives, to still see that support, people coming out, that's a big deal. People are still paying attention. They're not saying, okay, Hogan's in there, everything's good now. They still want to, continue the
Exactly. Well, and that was one thing that a couple of people commented to me both yesterday and today, when I was still in Annapolis today, that we had such an amazing turnout without any particular specific threat.
Right.
That we didn't have one major issue that we were trying to get defeated. That people still came out, and they were still coming out to introduce themselves to the new freshman legislators, and to make sure that Annapolis doesn't forget that we're out there. So that was pretty fantastic. And I will also say that I was in Annapolis today, and I was in the legislative halls, and many elected officials came up to say that they were really impressed yesterday. They were grateful that people showed up, and that they were very impressed with the professionalism of our community. They were very impressed with the demeanor.
Rock.
Yeah.
Are you getting that from both sides?
Both sides. Every legislator that I talked to today said that they were very gratified that, even if they didn't necessarily agree with our position, that they were very impressed with how our people came out and behaved politely and with professionalism and dignity. And of course, we would expect nothing less from our community, but the perception is that we're not always like that, and we know better, but they don't. And so it's really great to be able to have them come up and say that. And
Karen says, well, we're going to get into legislation in a minute, but the only thing my wife didn't like was Andy got to smoke. Oh my God, that was Frogman's wife. Oh my God. So this woman came up to me and she's like, oh, you did such a nice job, and this and that and the other thing. And she's like, but when I wanted to smoke, I walked off the grass and went off to the side, and this and that and the other thing. And this lovely woman walked up to me, and I knew she was somebody's wife that I should know, but I didn't remember meeting her before. And she said, I'm so jealous because you got to smoke, and I usually am hiding up on the State House steps. And I'm like, yeah, you just step away from everybody and you're good to go. And she was just the loveliest woman. It's Frogman's wife.
Very nice.
Yeah. So Frogman must have been there. So that's cool.
Also looking at the chat room, Delegate Wilson is a good guy.
Yeah,
He is. He's a very good guy.
Yeah.
He's very reasonable. He is.
But we're going to talk about
Army
his,
Reserve.
yeah, I don't know.
I know he was Army at one point.
Somebody's reporting that C.T. Wilson gave a call today, or gave them a call today, and said he's going to support HB 39 and another bill that will remove good and substantial. He's a D, but he usually is good on the gun issues. So, and good. So we got TDT 91. He's figured out how to. That's good. Good. So we've got more people in the chat room. And if you listen,
Moogly, a lot of people in the chat room.
yeah, we're doing all right. So, so anyway, TM, I don't know. That must be Tim. Has joined us. It's, I always feel like Miss Sally when I want to run down the list and go, hello, everybody.
So another 2A Tuesdays is in the book.
Yeah. Yep. It was a long day for Shannon and
I
I. It was
bet.
a really long day.
I bet.
So, and I woke up at 3:30 and just could not go back to
Nice.
sleep. And the funny thing was, is I finally figured out that it wasn't that I was worried about the thing. The ridiculous part about it is I had left a pair of studs in my ears, not the normal ones, but they have an extra long post for, I didn't know. And about the time I figured it out and took them out and I fell asleep, 15 minutes later, the alarm went off.
Nice.
So from 3:30 until about midnight last night. Yeah. I was a little tired. So, anyway, but it was a great day and I wouldn't have missed it for all the money in the world. And thanks to Shannon, it was like awesomeness, awesome sauce. So, yeah. Let's see.
So
Yes.
part of 2A Tuesday is legislation.
Hold on. Number of people said that they missed you, and where the hell were you?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, Kirk, I don't want to hear from you.
really?
Sorry.
So some of us, I have to work for a living, and yes, I did not have the opportunity to take the day off. Things are not
Right.
going all that well at work, and I just did not have the opportunity to do it. So
Dan, we talked about you. Dan's giving me crap over Facebook. So
yeah, we did.
we
And
did
some
talk
of it was
about you.
positive.
Stop. And I met the guy who, and I'm so sorry if he's listening. I apologize
You
profusely.
met the guy who knew the guy who was a friend
No,
of Skipper and
the
Gilligan's
whole
Island?
dog
roommates.
poop tax thing that Dan did to you.
Oh,
Well, apparently,
really?
so Dan and he are friends, and he had put it on his Facebook, and then Dan read it and put it up on his, and then you bought into it.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes.
Oh no, but so he came over and said, so anyway, so that's
Yes,
something
yes.
else Dan is responsible for.
I'm glad my humiliation amuses everyone. I'm here to please.
And Dan, stop. We already talked about MSI. We said you guys were awesome,
I
and
love and adore Dan Glassberg, and he did a lot to make 2A Tuesday a success, and
Oh
his
my-
speech was fantastic.
and it was, and he is.
And it was, and he is, and that's not blowing smoke.
We don't get paid enough to blow smoke up, blow sunshine up people's skirts,
This is true.
which implies that Dan wears a skirt.
I work for a nonprofit.
Which implies that Dan wears a skirt, so we'll just leave it there. so that what?
You have cigarettes.
Downstairs.
God damn it.
I'll go get them. I don't. If you crack the window, because I don't want to blow smoke.
Send Kirk. He's not doing it.
No, I'll go get him because Shannon needs to talk about her legislation, and then
All right.
Did you guys do the tours? Everybody go into the House of Representatives and all that
Well,
again, or
We sent everybody out to go meet with their legislators. So hopefully most of them did. So
mine weren't there last year. They were all out and about. So got to meet Justin Reddy, who is now a state senator.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
appointed by
So-
Hogan.
Yeah,
That was good news.
yeah. I thought so. I don't know. I was reading some stuff about it. I don't know. I guess they did something the wrong way, or like I said, anything outside of Tulsa County. I'm not even following it.
I'm not even sure I want to go there, but I will say this. My wife and I were on the Queen Anne's County Republican Central Committee last year when we had to make 3 appointments, one for senator, delegate, and then county commissioner. And the amount of nonsense we got over the process where we accepted all comers. They had a mailbox they sent their resumes to. The meetings were open. Everybody came in, interviewed. What went on in Carroll and Frederick this year with these appointments?
Right.
I don't want to hear it from anybody about the process we followed in Queen Anne's because, quite frankly, we were as transparent as can be.
Right. Right.
So I just don't want to hear that. So.
And people say, "Oh, well, yeah, Carroll County, this," and then you look at Frederick and the outcome in Frederick, and it's like, well, maybe what Carroll County did was right. You know, like I said, I didn't read. I just kind of skimmed through it. I didn't really pay attention to it.
Okay, well, thanks for bringing up the topic.
Yeah, Justin Reddy, you know,
appreciate that.
He's a good pick either way. So, you know, it is what it is.
All right, so
I'm a Central Committee member, so that's not biased.
It doesn't matter. You're not making an appointment, and you know what? You're allowed to have your bias, even if you are a Central Committee member.
Wow.
Good Lord, Andrew, what are you doing?
Trying not to smoke him out.
Kirk, you smoke cigars.
I smoke cigars.
Yes, but he didn't bring any.
I smoked them all in Colorado.
Dan says, I do not wear a skirt. I wear a kilt. And I'm in the chat room now. Good. So then you can go give everybody else crap.
If it's not a utility kilt, it's crap.
Can you give me
Oh,
can I have a
just
smoke?
need water. I'm sorry. Relax for a minute.
Good. I just
Didn't
take
you
your
quit
time.
like 6 months ago?
Would you shut up?
Okay.
Really, Kirk?
Sorry.
So anyway, where were we?
You were about to hand me a
appointments.
No,
cigarette.
I see a comment in the chat. Yes, the NRA is in fact a nonprofit organization.
The NRA-ILA or the NRA?
Both. NRA is a 501c3. NRA-ILA is a 501c4. We are nonprofit
Because the ILA does an education piece.
because ILA lobbies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a question on an interview with somebody. Do you know the difference between a C4 and a C3? And I was like, yes, one's an education piece.
Yeah.
So it took me a minute. Are you going to make an ashtray or what?
Right here. Right
But
in
you need
front
some
of
water in it.
Right in front of you. Holy cow.
All over the electronics.
Give him a little bourbon and look what happens. So anyway, all right. Shit. What are we giggling about?
Utility kilts.
No, okay, yes. Well, utility kilts are so yesterday.
All right, so we're going to talk about legislation or what?
Yes, Shannon is
Yes,
going to talk about
let's talk about
legislation. Can you do
legislation.
this one at a time and we'll discuss it?
Sure.
Things you are supporting.
I'm going to work through the list that I already had, and then I'm going to go to the MGA website and look at the bills that just got dropped.
Hold that thought. Sing the Glock song. That's the third request.
All right, but this requires a little bit of context for those who don't know what we're talking about.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
All right.
So
I have a 3.5-year-old, and that means that we sing the Wheels on the Bus. And I'm sure everyone is familiar with the Wheels on the Bus. Well,
go round and round.
Indeed, they do.
That's what I've heard.
All through the town. And there's only so many times you can sing the same 4 or 5 verses of the Wheels on the Bus before you start to lose your mind. So my husband and I started creating our own verses for the Wheels on the Bus. And as a result, we now have the hammers back and the safeties on. See, now I'm not going to.
Wheels on the bus go round and round,
Yeah.
round and
Hammers back and the safeties on, safeties on, safeties on. The hammers back and the safeties on, unless it's a Glock.
Oh my God. That's the new intro to our show. Oh my God. That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh no, Cyber will be getting her to do that on some sort of tape recorder. That is awesome. So
Oh, there's a whole lot of extra verses to the Wheels on the Bus.
oh my God. Somebody whose name I don't recognize, but I probably would if it was on MD Shooters, is asking if the lifetime membership for NRA is tax deductible. I have no idea. You'd
I
have
don't
to take
think
that
so.
up with the NRA. That's a tax.
I don't know because I don't work in membership, but I don't know. I'd have to find out. I know that donations to ILA are not tax deductible, but
And what's up with the Senate delaying approval of Hogan's appointees? They're having a
It's a world-class-
Miller and
they're
Bush
having
are
a
having
temper tantrum.
and they're having a temper tantrum because they didn't like his State of the State speech.
They do the
There's
same
no
thing to
other
Ehrlich.
reason. Okay, they need to get back to the business of governing and stop jumping up and down like 2-year-olds.
They've never governed.
Oh, for heaven's sakes! They're just mad because they lost the governor's house.
Well, you know,
I
when
want my way.
when I listened to the State of the State, I was a little bit surprised that it was very much, the beginning of it was very much a stump speech. He hit on all the themes he did on his campaign.
But I think he should.
I thought he should have started with reform. Sorry.
No, I wasn't offering a criticism there
Oh, okay.
before you guys pounced on me like a pack of wild animals.
I apologize, John.
You like your wild animals.
But he was very consistent. He struck all the themes that he did during his campaign, and he laid the tone. And you know what? He's there to be the governor. He's not there to appease the liberals.
Correct.
You know, and he wants to strike a middle of the road theme here. Well, welcome to Annapolis. You know, you've got liberals majorities in both chambers, So, he's got his work cut out for him. But I was a little bit surprised, but I don't fault him at all for that. I thought it was a good speech, and Miller and Bush, I think they're completely out of line on this. Completely out of line.
Yeah, I mean, it is beyond ridiculous. And for them to say, well, in light of his stated, I think was it Raskin? Does anybody remember?
Yes, it was Raskin.
Was Senator Raskin. Well, in light of his State of the State speech, we have more questions.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Grow the hell up. Okay, that's what I have to say about that, because I don't work for anybody.
I mean, Hogan basically said we can't spend more than we take in.
There are benefits to that.
What questions do you need?
So,
but he's cutting education.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Really?
Are
Obviously,
you kidding
I'm
me?
being
Really?
sarcastic.
So instead of the 10% raise you were expecting, you got a 5% raise.
Well, it
That's
actually,
a cut? Do you consider that a cut?
I don't, but
You consider that a raise? Yes or no?
oh, absolutely.
All right then.
Yeah, you look at it from Prince George's and Montgomery County.
Well,
You've been getting so much money over the years that
They're
oh
still
man, we're not
getting a
getting
raise.
$50 million.
They're still getting a raise.
No,
and then the other thing that drives me crazy are
And they are
you
getting.
knew it was going to happen.
They're getting
You
what they
absolutely knew
got
it was going to
plus.
happen. I have a lot of friends on Facebook who are state employees, and all of them were complaining. It's like, well, I asked them, did you vote for Hogan? Well, yeah, hell yeah. I'm like,
hey, how did
you knew it was going to happen.
Well,
Yeah,
stop.
yeah,
Stop.
absolutely
They
knew it was
need to
gonna
stop
happen.
reading Facebook BS and start actually reading, the things that have facts in them.
I mean,
hey, you know what? If they're state employees, ask them how much they enjoyed their furlough days courtesy of Governor O'Malley.
exactly.
Bing, 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 bing. Good point.
And the other thing that's driving me crazy is the Chesapeake Bay Foundation having
Oh, don't get me started on them. Oh my God. Oh my God.
not a peep from these people when O'Malley was diverting the funds.
Right.
to the
That was
general fund.
yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
it's been going on for a while.
Right.
But not a peep from him when O'Malley. But Hogan tries to inject some common sense here, and you thought that
It's a sad, dark day in
right.
Maryland.
We're setting back the Bay, as opposed to okay, we'll collect this money for the Bay Restoration Fund, and then
Then
we'll use it
transfer
for
it.
something else.
Right.
I
Exactly.
mean, really, how does that help the environment?
Right.
Anyway, I'm done. Sorry.
No, that's good.
That's a good point.
I know it's
I
on the top of
concur.
my head. Thank you, Kurt. Your concurrence is all,
All
I
right.
need.
So let's get back to the bills.
Yes.
Sorry.
Since we digressed. It's chat room. We digress. We talk about what
Okay.
they want to talk about. So
Back to the bills.
back to the bills.
Okay, so
Baiting?
well, yeah, let's talk about the bill that got heard yesterday in the Senate and today in the House. This is relevant for the waterfowl hunters in the audience.
Woo!
So, in Maryland, the standard for baiting is what is referred to as strict liability. And what that effectively means is if DNR police find evidence that there is bait present, you are guilty. They do not have to prove that you knew that it was there. They do not have to prove that you were the one who put it there. You are guilty. And even if you go to court, the judge will tell you, there's nothing I can do about it. Sorry, strict liability. There was bait. You were there. You're guilty of baiting. And again, waterfowl hunters will know there's number one, you've just been convicted of a criminal misdemeanor. Number two, your reputation is shot. Number three, there's the potential that you could end up, eventually, if this happens more than once, which it's not totally out of the realm of possibility, that you could end up being unable to travel to hunt, that you could end up losing your hunting license. It's a huge problem. And because it's a huge problem, in 1998, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service asked to have the standard changed, and President Clinton signed a change to the federal law. Now, waterfowl are federally regulated migratory birds. It's a federally protected resource. Federal law says that you have to, in order to be charged and convicted of baiting, you have to know or reasonably should have known that the bait was present, which gives you the opportunity to present evidence in your own defense. Maryland thus far has refused to conform to federal law. So there's a bill in the legislature that would do that would conform Maryland law to federal law. It was heard in the Senate yesterday. It was heard in the House today. Really great hearing in the House today. Really fantastic hearing in the House today. Everybody in favor of the bill did a great job. And
Do you sit in on those?
I did. I
Okay.
did. I testified on both of those.
Okay.
And and the House, the hearing was really great. And there was only one person who opposed the bill, and he.
Well,
And what is
So-
the
so there
House
was-
bill number again?
It is Senate Bill 88, House Bill 170, I believe, and I'm going to check it. Yeah, House Bill 170.
So there were some interesting comments made in both the Senate and the House, and I want to bring those up. I was not there, but I heard that, wait, I don't work for anybody. Senator Montgomery said something to the effect of, and this is not a direct quote, but basically her message was, we all know that people hire outfitters so they can shoot as many animals as possible. That said, I think all baiting rules should be eradicated, which is kind of funny because you still have to abide by the federal rules.
Well, what was really interesting is that Senator Montgomery started out by saying, I think you're all incredibly naive to believe that the fields aren't being baited, because everybody knows the whole purpose of a hunting trip is to kill as many animals as possible.
So,
And when, of course, the reaction of the hunters and everyone in the room was,
what?
Can
you say fair chase?
Exactly. And then she went on to say, I just don't understand why we don't get rid of the baiting standards entirely. Yeah, it is. She made a point of saying that she eats game meat often, which I don't know, somehow legitimates her comment.
Game
But
meat if you're not a hunter.
Well, you get it from somebody else.
Okay.
You go to the whatever and you buy it. You can buy, we were talking about this tonight, you can actually buy farm raised pheasant.
Right, it has to be farm raised. So it can't be.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
But you
anybody
had
who would make a comment like that is patently obvious that they've really never participated in a hunt, because as any hunter will tell you, yeah, okay, if you bag something, that's fantastic and that's great, but that's the only kind of the point. Really, the point is to get out there, to enjoy nature, to enjoy the sports, to enjoy the camaraderie. And again, they call it hunting. They don't call it grocery shopping.
Hello.
So,
hello.
It certainly was the case for you this year, wasn't it?
Between you and Frogman, that's enough out of both of you. Well,
and I'm the girl who went dove hunting out here on the Eastern Shore, and
without
I
me.
Oh.
That's legit. It's true. And I went dove hunting, and I got dove, singular. I got a dove.
But dove hunting is actually difficult.
I got one dove.
It's actually incredibly difficult.
Unfortunately, another hunter felt sorry for me, gave me 2 more, so I had enough for an appetizer.
Awesome.
There you go. There you go. Perrin, what's the bill number, the House bill number?
House Bill 170.
Okay. So then the bill was heard in the House today,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And as I understand it, one person, and I'm just telling these guys what I heard. You're going to have to correct me where I'm correct or not correct or whatever. But what I heard was one person showed up to oppose the bill and basically said, well, I'm a former
Wildlife commissioner,
and went on to testify against the bill. Fortunately, that was heard in front of, is it all right if I ID the person? Fortunately, that was heard in front of Delegate Tony O'Donnell's committee, and God bless his soul, because he challenged this person and said, I'm sorry, what are your credentials? Do you want to?
Well, the person who
don't,
testified said, I'm a former member of the Wildlife Commission. Okay, great. And then he went on. Now, it is important to note that DNR did not take a position on this bill. They did not take a position on the Senate bill. They did not take a position on the House bill. And the gist of his testimony was essentially that, DNR was prevented from taking a position on the bill. And Delegate O'Donnell, this individual's testimony was it was worded in such a manner as to imply perhaps credentials that he didn't perhaps really have. And Delegate O'Donnell kind of called him out on it and said, now, wait a minute. Who are you? Where are you from? What are your credentials? And what makes you think that, that there's some kind of conspiracy in place to prevent. He didn't use that word, didn't use so many words, but essentially, what gives you the right to accuse anyone of preventing DNR from coming to testify on this bill? And
The answer was
the answer was
stutter, stutter, stall, stall. So, so that was really, that was, I mean, I had heard that story too. And I mean, I was, you know,
I mean, the video of the hearing is going to be online on the MGA website, and it's pretty entertaining.
actually should
go watch it,
already
yeah.
be up.
Yeah. The video of the hearing will be up on the Maryland General Assembly website, and it was pretty great.
And if you need a link to that, if you want to see it, I can't get you a link to just that bill, but I can get you a link to the hearings for the day.
I do have the PDF on file here.
Yeah, but it won't have the testimony.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's
Sorry.
what we're looking for.
But yeah, it was pretty spectacularly well done.
So,
But yeah, so that's one of the bills that's been heard already. Now, moving forward to the bills that were, very important. We know what day Gun Day is going to be.
we know.
We know.
Okay.
We know.
I'd heard rumors.
We know. Gun Day in the Senate is March 12th. It's on the website. And I'm going to check the website
However,
right now.
However, gun bill in the House is not the 12th.
No.
It is we're working on that.
I'm looking at the list right now. It looks like March 10th for the majority of the House bills.
Okay.
March 12th for the majority of the Senate bills.
And our producer says, actually, Karen Montgomery, the one quoted, well, paraphrase, not quoted, but paraphrase on the baiting bills, is signed on as a co-sponsor of SB 454, which is Senator Wall's reciprocity bill.
Interesting.
Is that a reciprocity bill that I've dealt with before? I have not read it.
I'm pulling it up
454
right
Senate
now.
Bill 454 reciprocity. I'm
It
wondering.
was just dropped this week, so I'm pulling it up right now to
Okay.
look at it.
I'm just wondering if that was previously filed.
No, it
No.
is. Okay. Quick little terminology. This bill, Senate Bill 454, sponsored by Senator Waugh and evidently Senator Montgomery as well as a number of other senators, which is cross-filed in the House cross-filed in the House with House Bill 464, sponsored by the lovely Delegate Februay.
So then this has to be the reciprocity.
This is a reciprocity bill, but
It's not the contiguous states one?
no, this is universal recognition. This bill is universal recognition. Any permit to carry issued by another state is valid in Maryland. Nothing about contiguous states, nothing about non-resident, resident. It is universal recognition.
I think it would be awesome. I think it would be incredibly awesome. I would like to support that both forms of that bill. I'm a little worried about the reality of that, but yeah, get me a Utah permit. I'm
Some of
down.
us already have one. Just saying. Thank you, Perrin.
Rain wants to know if there's going to be a war room for the 10th and the 12th. Rain, if you'll stand by and let us get our feet under us, we just got back from the rally. So,
And this date literally got announced 2 hours ago.
it's 8:48, so maybe 3.
Okay, so yeah, maybe 3 hours ago we found out what day gun bill was going to be. So
Why are they having 2 days? They always have 2 days, Perrin. One in the Senate, one in the House, and there's nothing we can do about it. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Senator Miller decides, Mr. President decides, and in Congress with his chairman of judicial proceedings when it's going to be, and Chairman Valerio decides with Mr. Speaker when theirs is going to be. And actually, I'm not entirely sure that Bush and Miller are the best buddies that people would like them to believe. So there's a lot of stuff that they do independently. So, just,
well, I can tell you the longstanding joke. The freshman Republican House member shows up on the first day of session and says to the minority leader, "Okay, show me where the Democrats are. I want to see the enemy." And the minority leader says to the freshman, No. The Democrats are the opposition. The Senate is the enemy.
Truth. That should be like under Twitter as pound truth. Yeah. Yeah. So sponsors for 454, Senators Wall, Astle, Gail Bates, Bob Casserly, Addie Eckert, George Edwards, Steve Hershey, Mike Huff, Kathy Klausmeyer, Karen Montgomery, Wayne Norman, Senator Justin Reedy, Senator Ed Riley, Johnny Ray Salling, Senator Serafini, doesn't that have a lovely ring to it? And Senator Brian Simonaire. So yes, Gerhard, Montgomery is a co-sponsor for reciprocity. So I don't know that she knows what she signed, but maybe she's seeing the light. So let's roll. People do change their minds, not easily. So maybe she's like, seeing some glimmer under her door. I don't know, but you know what? I'm happy she's supporting it, and more power to her.
Absolutely. Other bills of interest,
please.
House Bill 39, which is being carried. It was introduced by Delegate Schultz, who has moved on to Governor Hogan's cabinet, and is now being carried by Delegate Howard. And this
Seth Howard out of Anne Arundel County.
Out of Anne Arundel County. This is the bill that eliminates the ballistics fingerprinting program. And for anybody who's not familiar with that, that is the requirement that manufacturers send two spent shell casings along with firearms sold in Maryland. The program has been defunded since
forever because Michael
04, 05, a good long while. They had language in last year's budget requiring a report to be produced on the effectiveness of the program, and I think the report can be summed up as saying that the program has been spectacularly ineffective. And I look at this as a cleanup bill. The program's been defunded forever. Why?
So they're basically throwing brass in a corner and paying for the real estate and paying for probably a couple of slots for people to do a program where they can't do the program. So, and Michael is that a previous file?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael's done that bill. So, and Michael, God bless him, he knew he was out of office, so he went around and there were some bills that he thought were important. This was one of them, and called a couple people, Vitaly Schultz, a couple other people, I think Debray, and said, hey, here's some good legislation. See what you can do with it. Yep. So God bless his soul. So yeah, I mean, this is a gimme bill. So I'm assuming the NRA supports this bill.
Indeed.
NRA-ILA supports this bill.
NRA-ILA supports this bill. NSSF supports this bill. Do
we have an NSSF chapter in Maryland anymore?
Well, NSSF doesn't have chapters because they're the trade association for the gun manufacturers.
The National Sportsman's Foundation?
The National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Okay.
CSF is what you're thinking of.
Okay.
That's the Congressional Sportsman's Foundation.
That's the one.
Yes.
Okay.
The chapter of CSF would be the Legislative Sportsman's Caucus, which is chaired by Senator Astle and Delegate Beitzel.
Delegate Beitzel.
Yes.
Who, by the way, Wendell Beitzel was there yesterday.
Indeed.
He's there every year. Even when we were a tiny little group on the mall, he always came.
I think he's quite a hunter too.
He is an avid hunter, and someday I hope to win the bear lottery and head out to his property in Garrett County.
Well, I know I talked to Delegate Jay Jacobs for quite a while, and I think he went bear hunting up in Western Maryland with Wendell. And of course, if you ever had the pleasure of listening to Jay tell a story, he's got several stories about going bear hunting with Delegate Beitzel, which are actually pretty funny. So.
Yeah.
Just throw that in there.
No, that's cool.
Just to let you and Shannon know that I'm still awake.
MSP still files and categorizes the brass and stores them 100 pieces at a time in boxes, according to D-Blast.
Yes.
So that's an interesting thing.
That's great. They don't have a machine to read them. They haven't solved a single crime with them. Makes sense.
Right. So they have no money.
To be fair, they have solved a handful of crimes. However, they did not solve those crimes using the software which was purchased as a multi-million-dollar boondoggle when this program was set in place because the software was spectacularly ineffective.
And you're
So
talking a handful over several years.
They've solved crimes based on spent shell casings.
A very, very small handful. Well, and let me even clarify. In a small handful of cases, a match was made. There is no.
That doesn't mean they solved.
There
right.
is no information to determine whether or not that particular piece of evidence was the clincher,
Right,
or if that
just-
particular piece of evidence was,
Helpful.
one sprinkle on top of an otherwise complete cupcake of a case.
Right. Okay.
So,
Fair enough.
what else you got for us? What
We've-
else am I testifying
We've
for?
got Senate Bill 100, sponsored by Senator Norman. And this bill defines good and substantial.
Wayne Norman? Senator Wayne Norman?
Senator Wayne Norman.
Senator Wayne Norman.
Senator Wayne Norman.
Okay.
Defines self-defense as a good and substantial reason to issue a concealed carry permit.
How about we just make the Constitution?
Wait, I've
good-
heard of this bill before.
Indeed.
What a fine bill that is.
Fine piece of legislation.
Fine piece of legislation. So you mean I don't have to have an active threat against my life in order to, if this bill were to pass, in order to, I don't know, carry?
So-
If this bill were to pass, on the form that says good and substantial reason, you would put self-defense and be done.
I'm liking it. But I liked it last year, the year before,
So are
the
we
year
allowed to
before
talk-
that.
Are we allowed to talk about the potential impacts of Ellen Grove's pending lawsuit?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
I want to go over the
This
NRA-ILA,
is a different question.
but we're dealing with state legislation right now.
Okay. I'll be a good boy. And
There's
just
a
shit.
there's a
sweetie.
list of pro-gun bills.
Okay.
And honestly, I got to tell you, this is kind of freaking me out a little bit. But if you go to the MGA website and you search under the narrow search term of quote guns, you will find a pile of pro-gun bills. And I don't have anything on my list to oppose right now. Now, the bill drop deadline is on Friday, so that's not to say that everything isn't, that I'm not going to start crying Friday morning. But right now,
Tonight, this second.
tonight, this second, I don't have anything to oppose.
Because sometimes they don't update this stuff until 3:00 in the morning. I mean,
Indeed.
I mean, it is insane the way they do things.
Indeed.
Do any of the gun bills kind of mimic surrounding states at all? Do you guys look at that when you're trying to lobby for a certain bill? Do you
Well-
take into consideration like what maybe Virginia
Do the
does?
legislators or does the
You know,
NRA-ILA?
it's interesting
Kind of both.
because the legislators often want to know what surrounding states are doing, except on this issue. If you look at any other issue that comes before the legislature, really any other issue that comes before the legislature, sales tax, healthcare, environmental regulations, they always want to know what the surrounding states are doing. But when it comes to this issue, they don't care. And that's probably because they're surrounded by Virginia, which is shall issue, and
What's
Pennsylvania, which is shall
what's-
issue, and Delaware, which is
Well, it's pretty
virtually shall issue.
it's pretty black and white. Like
Yeah.
environmental stuff, healthcare stuff. That gets pretty complex. Gun issues are pretty. It's just that black and white. It's either
Yeah.
you can carry or you can't. Let's define it.
what is HB 100?
HB 100.
I'm reading. We need a House cross file on HB 100. No,
Oh, you mean
SB. I'm sorry,
100.
SB 100. Yes, they corrected
Yeah.
themselves. I'm trying to read.
Yes.
They're saying somebody's saying it's flawed. It reads self-defense can qualify. It should read self-defense. Actually, and Rain, I'm going to correct you on that. You wrote it should read self-defense qualifies. It should read self-defense will qualify or shall qualify. There's a difference between shall and can, and it's a big legal term that I learned under Michael. But yeah, but you're right. The word can leaves room for bad things.
What
You're
the
absolutely
bill-
correct.
The actual language of the bill, I've pulled it up here. It says in the clause in context, it says has good and substantial reason to wear, carry, or transport a handgun, such as self-defense, or a finding that the permit is necessary as a reasonable precaution against apprehended danger.
Now, would that be clearly defined in the legislation? Like clarifying that self-defense
No, what would
can
happen
qualify?
is
What-
in
how do you
my
qualify?
estimation, based on my experience in Annapolis. Okay, not speaking for anybody, just drawing on my own experience. So if that bill were to pass the way it is written, okay, so if that bill passes, Larry Hogan signs it, then what will happen is it will go to regulation. So MSP will say, well, this is how we're going to do it. Hopefully we will have an MSP colonel who is, with us. I have no idea. And before anybody asks, I haven't heard a whisper, not even nothing. I mean, I really, literally nothing about who's going to be in charge of MSP. I can't even say to you, I heard rumors, but I'm not commenting. I've heard nothing.
I can say that
I've
I've
down.
I can say that I've heard rumors and innuendo, but I can also say that those rumors and innuendo did not come from any sources that
Or even remotely reliable. It's like
It is
watching
purely
Access
rumors.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Pure rumors and innuendo. So
I guess
nothing.
Sources that one could expect would be reliable would say this is only a rumor.
Right.
So,
but we're not even hearing that.
Got nothing.
So yeah,
no idea.
Yeah. So, and MJD is absolutely correct. New proposed additional text is always indicated in the legislation as all capitals. Brackets usually indicate deletions from current law.
Yes.
If you need help reading the legislation, if you can't figure out what the legislation says, click on the fiscal note, read the first paragraph. That's usually pretty easy. But if not, call me, 410-490-2734. Also, you can always email Shannon, or you can, there's so many people on Maryland Shooters.
Does the governor
from a number of organizations Maryland Shooters is populated by people who belong to organizations, who don't belong to organizations, but many of them know exactly what they're doing. So ask the questions.
Is there anything such as like signing statements or anything, how the law is going to be enforced on the state levels?
What?
Like signing statements, anything like that on the state levels? Like how they're going to be enforced? Like when Governor Hogan would sign a law.
Yeah.
Does he have some kind of way? If Obama or Bush were to sign something in the law, they would have a statement saying.
Well, first of all, Obama and Bush are two very different levels.
No, I completely understand that. Do we have something like that on the state level? We do not. Right. Okay.
No. The regulatory process maybe, but nothing like that would come out of the governor's office.
But that's why Rain's point is correct.
Right.
It should not say can qualify. It should say shall qualify. And that, it's like Kirk, your wife says, well, sure, you can go to Vegas and spend half your income. That's a lot different than you shall.
Well, it says for the purpose of clarifying that self-defense can qualify. So right. So they would have to define what self-defense would be, but you can't make up your own definition of self-defense. If it's in Webster's dictionary, it's one's persons or interest. The defense of one's person or interest. You can't get around that.
No, it can qualify is a whole lot different than shall. So if they say self-defense shall qualify, that means if I write down self-defense, that will qualify.
Right, but that's more of, like you were saying, it's more along the lines
of
So
if I write down the word self-defense, that shall.
Right, but they would say.
But I'm not going to sit down
there. The can qualify would be like a healthcare issue or something. If they thought that you had post-traumatic stress or something, they're not going to issue you a concealed carry permit.
In this particular.
Go ahead.
In this particular instance, if it said can qualify, then it would say that would imply that the secretary has the discretion to allow self-defense as a reason, but the secretary already has that discretion. And the statute says secretary, and we're actually talking about the MSP superintendent, but the statute says secretary.
Brooke, you're in trouble with me. And he knows why. You'll have to read the chat to find out.
Yes, I see that.
Yes, he's in trouble.
Let's make John happy and let him talk about. Let's talk about the court case, because I know he really wants to.
No, it's not that court case.
All right. What court case would you like to
talk
talk
about? The one he's threatening in D.C.
Okay, we can talk about that too.
Over basically they set up a permitting system similar to Maryland, where it's a May issue, and they're really not issuing just about anything. I think the last thing I read, they'd issued, I think, a total of 6 permits.
8.
8? Okay. So he said he's asked a judge to find them in contempt for not following the law, and I'm just wondering what impact, if any, if he's successful, would that have potentially on Maryland. Now it's a lot closer to home. But what the big news coming out of Texas today is in a different circuit, but now we're a lot closer to home with this other lawsuit.
I am not an attorney, and I don't play one on TV, and I
But
don't
you
play
stayed
one
at
on
a
my
Holiday
job.
Inn
And therefore
Express
you
last
will
night.
not-
As Tom Smith said,
Careful.
you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express
But I
last night.
stayed at the Maryland Inn last night,
Yes, we did.
and DC is a federal territory, so my guess is that it would depend on what the outcome of the case was and how the judge issues the opinion, if that could then potentially turn into a federally. I mean, I think it's probably going to end up being just another court case to potentially end up at the
Right.
Supremes.
Okay.
It's another option to end up at the Supremes. I think that's going to be the effect, is that it's one more chance to get cert from the Supreme Court.
All right.
Okay. While we're on the subject of lawsuits, is there anything new, or what was the last thing about
Oral arguments in the Colby versus O'Malley, I think is.
I think it is.
Yeah. Oral arguments are March 25th.
Okay.
It's either the 24th or the 25th. I think it's the 25th. 95% sure it's the 25th. But oral arguments in the Fourth Circuit in Richmond will be at the end of March. And then we will go from there and wait for the Fourth Circuit decision, and then move on from there.
So in breaking news,
In breaking news.
federal interstate handgun sales ban ruled unconstitutional. I'm picking this up from firearmspolicy.org. So full attribution there. In another excellent victory for civil rights by attorney Alan Gura. And by the way, he's an awesome guy. I have
Really?
met him, and he is.
Everybody needs to start donating to SAF very generously. This guy's winning cases right and left.
I have no issue with that, but ILA needs money too.
No, I understand that. I'm not trying to.
I know. I'm just saying. So, if you got $10, give $5 to ILA and $5 to Alan Gura's cause. I'm okay. I'm okay
Like
with
I
that.
said, let's pick on Kirk, not me. Okay?
I'm sorry, I wasn't picking on you. Anyway, Judge Rita O'Connor struck down the federal interstate handgun sales ban earlier today, finding it unconstitutionally, both facially, meaning on its face, and as applied under the Second Amendment and the Fifth Amendment's due process clause. As the court explained, quote, to prevail on a facial challenge, plaintiffs must show that either no set of circumstances exists under which the law would be valid, or that the statute lacks any plainly legitimate sweep. That, end quote. That high bar was met by the plaintiff's legal team. The decision explained that, quote, defendants United States General Eric Holder and BATFE Director Todd failed to provide reasonably current figures to show the federal interstate handgun sale ban is narrowly tailored. Even though the court found that strict scrutiny was the proper standard of review for that type of burden on constitutionally protected conduct imposed by challenged laws, it is also noted that the law failed even the relatively deferential intermediate scrutiny test. Shannon, you want to explain that? Do you want to explain what the ramifications of today's decision were?
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
Because everybody's like, well, can I go to Virginia? Can I
My
go to
lord.
Delaware and buy
Okay.
a handgun now?
So this is the thing that needs to be discussed. And it kind of like how in our lawsuit, we did not get the outcome we wanted in U.S. District Court. And so we are appealing to the Fourth Circuit. This is a decision that came down and it is a win, and it's fantastic, but it's a win in U.S. District Court. So that's a win at the trial court level. The government is going to appeal this case. It's going to go to the Fifth Circuit. And so what we can expect is that a stay will be issued pending appeal. I think the real impact of this case, of this decision, is that it brings to the discussion and it brings to the debate this whole notion of, okay, we've established very firmly that the Second Amendment is an individual fundamental right. Now, what is the extent to which, for lack of a better term, what is the extent to which it can be infringed upon? What is the extent to which the federal government can regulate that right? And again, nobody is arguing that the right is entirely unlimited. Nobody's arguing that convicted felons of violent crimes should be allowed to own firearms. So I think everybody agrees that there is certain limited limits on the exercise of that right within the boundaries of due process and within the boundaries of everything that we are afforded as American citizens. But I think the real impact of this case is going to be that it brings to the forefront and it brings to the discussion this question of, okay, we know it's a fundamental right. We know it's an individual right. How far can that regulation go?
So,
isn't that kind of like opening the door, though? Almost. If you're to say, well, certainly we believe that this little tidbit should be regulated, and then they just go crazy with it. They don't stop at just that.
As opposed to what's happening now. Come on.
Right, and that's kind of what happened. Is historically, the National Firearms Act of 1934. Okay, it's okay to regulate fully automatic firearms, and it's okay to regulate sawed-off shotguns, and it's okay to regulate short-barreled rifles, and it's okay to regulate suppressors. And then you have the Gun Control Act of 1968, and again, yeah,
it's a domino effect.
It's a domino effect, and now with this court decision moving through the courts, it's essentially putting your hand in front of that line of dominoes and saying, whoa, wait a minute. Let's take a look at this and let's see just how far we're going to let those dominoes fall, and if maybe it's time to start setting some of them back up again.
okay. So I was following the chat, so I may not have caught
I
this.
haven't been following the chat.
No. I'm saying, okay, so
Okay.
you may have addressed this and I missed it because I was reading the chat. So I want the latest Kimber.
Right.
Okay. I don't want to get an HQL. No dice. Okay.
No dice.
Okay.
The
I didn't
judge,
think so.
The judge held in the context of this decision that you still have to conform to the state laws of your home state of residence.
I read that. Yeah.
So-
No, and they're probably going to stay this before.
It's gonna get stayed.
Yeah. So
So
it really doesn't do anything for us.
No.
the immediate practical effect is going to be very small. The immediate
long term,
the long term, and then the political effect and kind of the big picture effect is going to be significant. But the immediate practical effect is that no, tomorrow you're not going to be able to
go to Delaware, buy my Kimber.
Go to Delaware, buy your Kimber, and drive back.
I'd get killed anyway. Have you met my husband? They're expensive. That's your objection.
When have I ever spared any expense when it comes to you, my lady? I mean, come on.
Oh, good.
Oh.
You got a better shotgun than I do.
I want to go to West Virginia on a hunt.
What are you going to hunt there?
What are we hunting, Shannon?
Pheasant, quail, and chucker.
Chucker.
Wow.
Chucker. We're going with chucker because chucker are not down the street. Pheasant and quail are right down the street.
Okay.
No, you,
I'm on board.
Chucker down the street, though.
Oh, shit.
I think they are.
Okay.
Well, in West Virginia, you get the mother chucker.
Did it.
Oh, my
Thank you.
God.
Hey, I'll be here all night.
Oh, my Lord. It's one of those. So
Tip your bartenders and waitresses.
there you go. There you go. Kirk, you were told to bring something. What did you bring?
Nothing.
You did
Brought
not.
myself.
Didn't you? The teacher gave you homework and you did not do it.
I told you, anything outside the county, I haven't followed anything.
Tell me what's going on in your county.
Nothing.
Thank you. And
Town council
that
still
report
intact?
brought to you by Kirk.
Town council still
Thank
intact.
you.
County council still intact.
Yeah, I went to my first council meeting yesterday. It was interesting. They're trying to annex land for businesses and things like that. It's really nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
I've never been to one, so I didn't really know what to expect or what they were going to talk about. I'm the only person out of like 50 people in the room that didn't grab an agenda when you walk in there. So I was just kind of sitting there like, all right. And,
What's
You know.
next?
but we had our first central committee meeting, laid out the agenda for the year, what we want to plan on doing with the upcoming convention.
Who's on your central committee currently?
Well, we have 9 members.
I'm aware.
Nick Panuzio is the chair. Denise Lovelady's the vice chair.
Okay.
Myself, obviously.
Okay.
We have Josh Horner. He's a business owner. He was
Yep.
ran
Heard of
for
him.
county council.
Yep.
Fran Bergier.
Berger.
Bergier.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not.
I actually like Fran. She's sweet.
She is nice. She
And
always- she
Denise
talks
is
to me
lovely.
all
And
the
Nick,
time.
I get along with Nick.
Yeah.
So everybody I know I get
Me
along
and
with.
Fran have the longest conversation.
Yeah, she's great like that.
Yeah.
She's great like
She
that.
is.
And she'll listen. Like you can have
I
a
know.
different and Denise
she
is that
knows a
way
lot.
too. And
Yeah.
Denise is that way too. She's got a lot of institutional knowledge. Did we tell you that's I'll tell you the story off air.
But we're probably going to be getting Republican Club up and running there and talk. But I'm kind of lately I've been going around to a couple of the businesses and just dropping off a card. Just you get a chance to meet with some of the business owners in the area at the bar and things like that. I say, hey, we're just working with Central Committee. We're trying to, hand out my card. If you guys have any information, you guys certainly can contact your legislators. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, give us a shout.
So what's your impressions of being on the committee so far?
I enjoy all of it.
Did you go to
Okay.
convention?
So you can tell you guys.
I didn't go to this past one.
Oh, so
Um,
talk to me when you go to
Oh,
convention.
you fail.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
go to this
Pound
past
fail.
one. No, I did enough walking. I wanted to take a break when
Go
the
ahead,
election
Shannon.
when
Go
the
ahead.
election came up. I just took a break.
No.
So you went to Colorado. And you
I did
didn't-
go to Colorado.
you didn't
I was
partake.
out of the loop for a week.
Well, he couldn't.
Okay, I understand.
So
But no, it's all right. I just I find it stuff enjoying. I get a lot of discussions going. I talk to everybody in the county I can. So
Cool.
When you go out to restaurants in the city towns and you get to meet a lot of the managers and I've gotten a couple recognitions just from being on the ballot. They recognize my card when I give it to them. So
Oh, you're that
Yeah.
jerk. I remember you.
yeah, right. So that guy, that staunch libertarian guy, we don't like him.
Nobody understands what the hell he's talking
We don't
about.
like that guy. So but it's been fairly good though.
Good for you. Good for
So
you.
it's all because you two.
Oh, please.
You two.
all I'm saying is get your ass to convention.
I'm going to the one in Ocean City coming up in April. So.
Yeah, well, you need to go. You
I'm
need to go,
excited
and
for
you
that
need to get involved. You can't just sit there and go, "Oh, this is my first convention. I'm going to sit back." And
Well, yeah. The one thing I'm happy about is we don't have subcommittees. I really can't. I can't stand that. A lot of the central committees around the state have little subcommittee legislators.
hell out, they do?
subcommittees. Yeah, I've
we
seen
never
them.
did.
That's what I'm saying.
But there were 7 of us, and we kept it that way.
Right, and they brought that up, and I said, I'm not going to be any part of that because it's just a waste of time to me. Our job's to grow the party, not make law or try and hey, I got this bill for you. Let me go ahead and give it to you. My delegate, like they're going to pay any attention to it anyway. So
That's the spirit.
I just enjoy talking to people. So
Yeah, it's
makes
fun.
things easier.
It's fun listening to what they have to say. So,
It's fun listening to what they have to say.
it's fun listening to what people have to say.
Okay,
Well, because I like listening.
I'm trying to figure out which one of you has had too much to drink now.
Not me.
I think you have.
All right.
I think it's fun listening to what people have to say.
Right, and it's never. Most of the time, it's never like good
Oh.
stuff.
I have to tell you another story. I'll tell it to you later. But we
Oh.
ran it. Go ahead.
Confidential to Rain Man. Absolutely. Yes. Email me.
Okay. Okay.
Chat room.
Okay. I'm trying to catch up, but I'm not able to.
Oh.
Well, I'll figure it out. You're spending the night. I'll figure it out.
Fine.
Yeah. Go.
Another bill.
Sure. Another bill.
Chat room brought up the question of are there any bills that deal with internal locks? And yes, there is. There is a bill from Delegate Vitale, soon to be Judge Vitale,
Woohoo!
provides that firearms sold in Maryland may be sold with an external safety lock as a substitute for the currently required internal safety
But
lock.
you mean I don't have to pay an extra $20 for something that's not going to sit in the barrel of my gun for more than 5 minutes? It took the guy to put it in.
Exactly.
Those Omega
And that
locks are
is
stupid.
House Bill 160. Pretty straightforward. You can use an external trigger lock. There you go.
Can you guys comment a little bit about what's going on with the a ton of states kind of setting bills like Montana blocking federal gun laws
I
and
can't.
things like that?
I can't. I have no framework for that. Had you asked me that before the show, I would have prepped.
It
and
just
would-
popped in my head. So
and perhaps you could have, I don't know, actually looked that up.
to be honest with
You
you,
told me he was the enemy, so
I try to read a line as much as I can, and there's like 2-3 things I just never comment on.
And she's not the lobbyist. I'm sorry, excuse me, liaison for Montana.
I
Now,
know,
if you want to
I'm
ask her about Illinois, good.
Well,
Delaware?
just overall.
I do have a bill I want to bring up from Delaware.
Okay.
There is a ridiculous
All right.
bill from Delaware, and I'm going to give like such a broad framework. You're going to have to fix this for me. Okay.
Okay.
No, you'll know what it is.
Let me pull up
So
my Delaware list.
apparently, if you offend someone,
the
Thank
breakup bill.
the breakup bill.
Okay.
This is Delaware. This is not Maryland. Everybody
is
got that?
not
Not Maryland.
This is Delaware.
Coming soon.
Delaware is attempting to reform some of their laws relating to domestic violence, what constitutes a prohibiting offense in the category of domestic violence. And this is a bill that has not yet been introduced in Delaware, but the language is being circulated. So we've seen the language. And amongst the many problems associated with this bill, one of the things that could be a prohibitive offense, or one of the things that could allow someone to get a protective order, is behaving in a manner designed to cause emotional distress. And so,
Hell, I do that every day.
exactly. So if I am the aggrieved, estranged girlfriend, and you no longer have to be in a formal relationship or a cohabitive relationship,
Right.
or you don't have to have a child together. You can just be in a dating relationship.
Oh, good God.
And so if I am the aggrieved, estranged ex-girlfriend, and I believe that my boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, has behaved in a manner designed to cause me emotional distress,
Hey.
I can petition the court for a protective order, and he can then lose his firearms rights under the terms of this particular piece of
You
legislation.
know what that means? If I move to Delaware, I'd be nice to Andy and my girlfriend.
Zing.
You're not nice to me now.
You know,
I know.
there's
well, there
there's
you
a
go.
whole host of problems along with this bill. It also provides that one of the potential things that you could be convicted of that would then make you a prohibited person is the crime of offensive touching, which
I've just offensively touched her.
honestly, it just kind of
I
makes
feel
me.
offended
It
watching
really just makes me want to go over and going,
It
I'm not
didn't
touching
work.
you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I didn't get aroused at all by that. It wasn't effective.
So you're offended?
I'm offended by you not being offended.
I don't know.
Restraining orders all the way around.
Okay, well, that bill's not going to, it's not going to go anywhere.
I hate this.
You never know.
Can I make
I'm
one
doing everything I
comment
can.
about Colorado? It just popped in my head. You know they have same-sex bathrooms in Colorado already?
I've heard that.
I'll drink to that.
Okay. Just
Ew.
we had the transgender bill.
Well, just unisex bathrooms or
Yeah.
or anything goes bathrooms.
Anything goes. It's just a picture of a man and a woman with a line in between. Has an arrow point here. So
Great. So if you're drunk, you really have no idea what
You have
that
no idea,
means.
right.
Yeah.
so
I mean, I
They
will
wonder why
say, I
people
will
pee in the
say,
alley.
as the parent of a very small child who doesn't always want to have to take diaper duty when we're in a public place, it would be really nice if men's rooms had changing tables occasionally. But
our legislator.
No.
yeah, let me get that in a bill.
I just it's sad that you have to go there and you see that and the first thing that pops up in my head was our bill.
Well,
So-
here in Maryland, all Jamie would have to do is identify himself as transgendered. He can use any bathroom he wants.
Perfect.
You know,
And only for 5 minutes
That's
at a
right.
time.
That's right.
it would not be fair if we did not mention the fabulous delegate Robin Grammer, who is
Oh.
a freshman delegate, and one of his very first
Kicking
acts
butt.
as a legislator was to put in HB 306, which is a repeal of Senate Bill 281 in its entirety.
Yay.
How come we're not seeing a lot of other freshmen? Because I've listened to a bunch of interviews from a lot of freshman delegates just online, and a lot of them are saying, "No, we're just kind of kicking back. We're learning the reins. We're not introducing bills." I've seen a couple people sponsor bills, and the one that you just mentioned. Is there some kind of mentality going around with these guys? They don't want to, they just don't want to go running through the door, guns blazing, or no idea.
I've got an answer for that, but I think I'll be prohibited from saying it. So
Go ahead. I'm putting up pictures.
I mean,
you got elected to do a job, okay?
Do it.
Take your first year off? I'm
Do it.
sorry, what kind of job is that?
Right, and I listen to these interviews. I'm just like, I can understand you just don't want to go in there and start just throwing out
Thank you
repeal
very
bills
much
left
for
and
your
right.
vote. I'm going to take the first year off.
I got to learn how to be a
Yeah.
Oh,
politician.
that one. I actually have heard that from people before, and it kills me.
Why did you run?
What is the point?
Why did you run?
Now, that having been said,
Yeah, here I go. Now I'm going to get schooled.
no. I'm just saying there are hundreds and hundreds of pieces of legislation introduced every year. Everything from important pieces of legislation to let's designate the
State sandwiches, the
State-
soft shell crab,
Yeah,
but she
don't
did,
go
which
there.
is not introduced this year. Thank God, because
Right.
because the
I-
former sponsor is no longer a senator.
I used to have
Woot.
a printout of a bill on my office wall designating in some state or another as an official state cookie. So
So a lot of them never make it out of even committees.
well, a huge portion number of bills don't even make it out of committees, but there is an argument to be made for it. Do we really does everybody have to introduce every bill every time, every year? Is there a certain amount of making work? I mean, obviously, if there's important legislation and there's important things that need to be dealt with, yeah, drop the bill. And who cares what year you're in? You have exactly the same vote as everybody else. Somebody who's been there for 3 months has got the exact same vote as somebody who's been there for 14 years.
Right.
And your constituents have every right to have their issues be heard. There's a lot of bills. And frankly, I'd be perfectly happy if none of the anti-gun freshmen ever put in another bill ever again.
A lot of the freshmen.
The
Anti-gun-
anti-gun
Right,
freshmen.
Right.
The
No,
anti-gun-
I got you.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'm just checking around, making sure I've got everybody's issues. 87 bills that start with the creation of a state debt. Yeah, well, don't get me started about that. Rain, I have gone off about that several dozen times, so we'll go on. Your freshman delegate has not yet introduced anything, MJD. I don't know who your freshman delegate is. I know where you live, but I don't know where that is. Start working for the people instead of the party. Yeah. Cyberpunk likes cookies. Okay.
Who doesn't? I like cookies.
Both
I like
bond issue bills should be illegal. I don't know that they should be illegal, but I think it should be pointed out to people that bond issue is a nice way for saying we're going to add to the debt, which means that ultimately your taxes are going to be raised or the services that you like are going to be cut.
I did see.
I think we should have a bill that explains that in every single freaking mailbox in Maryland.
There's a prohibition bill for the mileage tax that they were floating around last year. Vehicle mileage
the
tax.
VMT, yeah.
Yeah, there's one now that's in there that won't allow that to happen. That came out of the Transportation Committee in the House of Delegates.
I doubt that'll pass.
Right. Always keep their options open.
Well, it's Annapolis. They never miss an opportunity to tax people.
Right.
I mean, that's why they're having such a fit with Governor Hogan.
So while you guys are reading, what do you think Hogan should do here? I see a lot of stuff circulating
what?
around about should he just executive order everything?
I don't think he can. First of all, he can't executive order everything. He can't issue an executive order that countermands the will of the legislature. He simply can't do it. He doesn't have the power to do that.
Okay. Do you think he should hold back a little bit and because elections
no,
still
hold
matter?
on.
Or
Hold
what
on.
do
I
you
want to
think?
explore that for a minute. Exactly what is an executive order then?
If like,
I mean, I know he
okay,
can't nullify a law with it.
Could Larry Hogan today issue an executive order that it fully repealed SB 281? The answer is no.
No. Right.
Because
And I
that
understand
was
that.
legislation that was passed.
Okay. But if he wanted to make,
He has to address something that hasn't been addressed by the legislature.
okay, so if he wanted to issue, and I want to think of a ridiculous example because I don't
Can
want
he
to start a
contradict it?
stampede.
Well, Kirk's here. He's king of ridiculous.
So
he
if he
contradict
wanted
SB
to
281?
if he wanted to issue an executive order naming Kirk French Marylander of the Year,
I'd support that.
Nice.
he could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
But what about the good and substantial? Because now the good and substantial is something that was
No, good and substantial is a policy. Okay. That, I mean, yes, you can legislate that. It could be legislated. Okay. Which is what we were talking about earlier. So that could be legislated. If that fails to be addressed by the legislature, or if it fails, then it could theoretically by any governor, and I'm being very broad here because I've had some issues with the press recently. They're trying to get me to pigeonhole the governor, and I won't do it because I don't know what the governor's intentions are.
Right.
Okay. I've had no conversations with the governor.
And it's been
and
less than a
frankly,
month.
2 weeks he's been
Right.
governor. It's just a ridiculous thing. But anyway, he's going to be governor for 3 years and slightly less than, or 4 years and less than 2 weeks. So to try to pigeonhole him right now is ridiculous. But there are a number of ways that good and substantial could be dealt with.
But I think talking about repealing SB 281 fundamentally
It's just ridiculous.
fundamentally misses the point. Leave it intact. Give the liberals something to hang their hats on, and then gut it from the inside.
Well, I don't see. Even people sit there and say we should executive order everything, but I think
But you can't.
there's a misconception out there that
that's
you can do
unrealistic.
that.
You can't.
But you talk to these people who say things like that,
It
and
sounds good.
they're not really defining what it is they
it's
want.
like peeing in a
so.
dark suit. It might make you feel warm all over, but nobody notices.
Shannon, can you,
And you get cold afterwards.
prior to
Thank you. Nice touch.
prior to March 10th, give me a list of the bills that the NRA supports and
NRA will
opposes?
be sending out an alert with the list of bills.
Okay.
And
if
yes,
and if you'll make sure that I get it, I'll put it on my Facebook, and then I'll put it also in.
if you're signed up for the ILA alert system,
I
you'll
am.
get that.
I am, and I
I
actually
am.
finally got an email the other day about 2A Tuesday. First time in anyway. So I'm thrilled to be on this. I know,
still get
but I've been
those.
bitching about this, right?
Funny, I get my alerts.
I get mine.
Okay.
I don't even know if I'm a member, but I still get them.
We know you're not a member.
I have a
BMA,
card.
both of you. So anyway, but if you will
What's
do
that?
that, then I will I will also put it up on Maryland Shooters, which is a multi-organization bulletin board. So if and actually it's not even an organization. Maryland Shooters is owned by a couple of guys.
Mhm.
Just a couple of guys. And so there are people who are not even members of organizations on Maryland Shooters, but we love them anyway. So yeah. I suspect, MJD, that there is a reason that your freshman delegate hasn't done anything, but that probably has to do with, well, anyway.
Well, the proper response is pick up the phone and give them a call. And
Okay.
ask them.
I'm wondering about this comment in a non-biblical sense.
I missed something.
Oh, wait. PM me about the new delegate. Let's make sure she gets to know us in a non-biblical sense. You got to put that shit all in one line, guys.
Yeah.
So,
Could depend.
all right. Anything else for tonight?
No, I'm done.
Because it's getting late.
Mm-hmm.
And there's bourbon to be drunk.
Did we do a good job?
Ma'am?
I'm just going to say that the bill drop deadline is on Friday. So after the Friday session, I will make sure that the NRA alert is drafted and sent out to all of our members in Maryland.
Okay. And let me also point out,
I'll
One-
certainly get it.
yes,
Me too.
let me also point out that just because the bill drop deadline is Friday doesn't mean that no more legislation can be introduced.
Right.
Please
Right.
be very clear about that. Okay. Because what happens is they bring a bill forward and they go to the committee and they say, well, we didn't bring this bill forward because it just came up or it's an emergency or they just have to explain. And if the rules committee in the House, it's the rules committee. If the rules committee says, okay, we'll buy that, and they send it out, then you can still get a hearing and still get a law through. So most of our dangerous bills will be out on Friday because it's far easier to get your bill heard having it dropped by Friday. Which actually, just because you drop it Friday doesn't mean you'll know about it. Because it may not be posted until Monday, late Monday. Bill drop deadline is usually
the bill
close.
will have a number. That doesn't mean I'll have the text.
Right. So yeah. So I'm just saying, if we suddenly get sideswiped by some random bill, a week from now, or a week and a half from now, or 2 weeks from now, that starts gaining momentum, we'll talk about it. We will let you know. But please don't anybody say to me, wait, I thought the bill drop deadline was. If it makes it out of rules, it can still have a committee hearing. But a lot of times they just kill that shit. So it just depends. So
Maryland is somewhat unique. in that in Maryland, there is a rule that every bill that makes it in by the drop deadline will get a public hearing.
Yes, that is the rule.
And
Actually,
and in a lot of other states, that is not the case. A lot of people, complain and have every right to complain about the fact that the chairman has a lot of power to keep a bill in the drawer and prevent it from coming up for a vote. And that's absolutely something to complain about. But in a lot of other states, it doesn't even have to be heard. There doesn't even have to be an opportunity for public comment. So at least we have that going for us in Maryland, that if a bill is introduced by the deadline, there will be a public hearing on that bill, and the public will have an opportunity to comment.
Actually, what I was going to say is that actually for municipality levels as well, that's the same exact thing that we did yesterday. We set in dates to the council meetings for public hearings and all. Depending on how many people show up, it's it's people who care.
So what I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say congratulations to our newest NRA Life member,
Which is whom?
Tom.
Oh,
Yay.
that must be Tom Smith. Yay! Welcome to the club. Yay!
Yeah, being an NRA member, what's that like, Kirk?
Kirk.
Oh, sorry.
I have all of my grandfather's cards for the last 40 years.
What about
And
your
mine.
card?
I have mine. I don't know when it
It's
expired. I
sitting
bet
right-
it expired like at the end
It's
of
sitting
last
right
year.
next to your Type 3 FFL.
Oh, it's getting ugly in here. Okay.
Oh, it was ugly when Kirk was.
All right. One more time for the record. March 10th in the House and March 12th in the Senate. You don't have to be there for both. It would be lovely if you could be. Send in your testimony to both. If you don't know how to write the testimony, you don't know what to say, you don't know where it goes, if you need help, my Gmail address is Andy Moroni, ANDIMORONY @gmail.com, or you can call me and Brooke, if you rename this chat room again, I'm going to drive to your house and kick your butt. My phone number is 410-490-2734. Grab me on Facebook. Don't hesitate. I will do whatever you need. Oh, I don't know how to write this. I'm afraid. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. I will help you. I will help you. And frankly, Shannon will help you. John will help you. Kirk won't help you.
Nope.
I have to interject here.
Go.
I see in the chat room that there's some discussion of Sunday hunting.
Yes.
There is a bill pending in the Baltimore County delegation to allow hunting on private property on Sundays in Baltimore County. And we need anyone out there, we need Baltimore County residents to contact their legislators and tell them that they support private property owners' rights to engage in their preferred recreational activity on Sundays, just like people can play golf and go bowling and do anything else they want on Sundays on their own property. They ought to be able to hunt on Sundays in their own property.
So you want them to email their legislators?
Contact your legislators and tell them that you are in Baltimore County and you want to be able to hunt on private property on Sundays in Baltimore County.
And I'm trying to.
Yeah, all
trying
of
to
my
get-
coworkers and my supervisor and my terminal manager are all hunters, and they all reside in Baltimore County.
This is driving me crazy.
Fantastic.
Their delegation member, because me being involved a little bit in politics, found out he lost. I believe his name was Johnny O. Is that familiar? He lost.
Yeah.
That's their new representative.
Yeah, well, he ran for something else, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
I think he
Just
did. I don't think he
Olszewski or
lost. I think he didn't run for something else.
Olszewski or something.
Olszewski.
Olszewski. Yeah. Is that
Johnny
District
O.
7 or?
He was.
That makes sense.
Yeah. He was sort of. He was sort of middle of the road on things.
He was good for us.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was good
so-
for us.
So was Kevin Kelly.
So what would you
miss Kevin.
recommend to they send or call and just say I support hunting on Sundays on
I
private property
support
or
hunting on Sundays.
Okay.
I mean,
Simple as that?
frankly, it's as simple as that. I
Right.
support hunting on Sundays. I support hunting 7 days a week because hunting related decisions should be made by wildlife biologists, not politicians. And
that's a lot of issues should be solved that way.
Well,
There was something else.
Bunch of lawyers.
seasons and bag limits should be determined by wildlife management professionals.
Experts. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you don't, and please, don't just write yourself. Don't just call. Don't just make sure the staff understands Talk to them. Okay. I said this yesterday.
Talk. We're from New York now.
Coffee.
On coffee. Go pocket car.
Okay.
That's Boston.
Ah, whatever.
Andy's wicked smart.
That's hot cool.
I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Okay. Don't just, make an appointment. Talk to the legislator. Make sure the staff understands, because the staff has an impact. Okay. Be polite, be kind. But, and if like we live in District 36, I know how my legislators are going to vote on a variety of these issues. Okay. I will take it to the bank that, I know how Jay Jacobs, Steve Aarons, Jeff Greist, and Steve Hershey are going to vote. However, I will be reaching out to some squishy people because they need to hear from me. Because frankly, they also need to be reminded that while those 4 guys that I mentioned represent me directly, Mike Miller still represents me. Joe Valerio still represents me. Okay. They all represent me.
The job title is state senator and
State delegate. Right. So that's the scoop. Hey, John, you want to tell me how to get out of here? Can I just pick something and play it?
Hey, I met State Senator Hershey and a couple other representatives there at the Hogan benefit or Hogan inaugural celebration in Cambridge a couple weeks ago.
Perfect thing.
Met tens and tens of people.
That's good.
Tens and tens.
Most of the council members in other counties, things like that.
You're going to have to record that. Yeah, we're going to have to record the Glock song. Might have to get you some bourbon and record the Glock song. So in honor of the president and the speaker refusing to allow the appointment process to go forward, I will end the show with this.
Here we come, walk down the street. Get funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. We're just trying to be friendly, come and watch, sing and play. We're the young generation, and we got something to say. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, you never know where we'll be found, so you better get ready.